If you recall, Mohammed Hijab was the one who gave Andrew Tate the keys to the Ummah. Hijab is the one who interviewed Tate shortly after his conversion and who announced to the Muslim world, "Here is your new champion, defend him."
One thing I want to say to the Muslim people is we must show loyalty and unity with Andrew Tate in the sense that he is now one of our brothers, and it is absolutely unforgivable to say things that some of these feminist Muslims have been saying. And in fact, if anything, they need to be the ones who are refuted. Andrew Tate now is a brother of ours. His sins have been completely wiped away. And that really is that.
Now, Hijab and Tate are both narcissists, so they're good at making themselves centers of attention, which helps them with social media and dawah. But ultimately, everything they do is done out of self-interest. Tate converted because he was about to be arrested, and he knew there was one religious community that would gladly defend someone with his view of women because their prophet had a similar view of women. Hijab wanted to be the dawah guy who carried Tate across the threshold, so to speak, for two reasons. One, he knew that Tate would be an amazing poster boy for dawah. If Muslims see a famous person convert to Islam, they'll get excited and they'll want more dawah, and they'll support people like Mohammed Hijab. Two, Hijab obviously wanted Tate under his umbrella of influence so that he could have access to Tate's fans, thus expanding his dawah brand. Fast forward 2.5 years to 2025, and things are not going well for the Andrew Tate dawah experiment. Most Muslims seem to have abandoned Tate because almost everything he does is haram, and they've realized that he's giving young Muslims the impression that it's cool to violate the commands of Allah and Muhammad. But this puts dawah clowns like Mohammed Hijab in an awkward position, because if they denounce and distance themselves from Andrew Tate, he may leave Islam and even become an enemy of Islam. In a new video, Hijab explains why it's a bad idea for Muslims to attack Tate for his behavior. But interestingly, Hijab, as the opportunistic narcissist he is still using Tate to his advantage, and you're about to see how. You're also about to learn the most important lesson you'll ever learn about narcissists. So, Hijab is having a discussion with Tam Khan, who was the man praying with Tate in the viral video posted after Tate's conversion in 2022, just a week before Hijab told the Ummah that they needed to support and defend Tate at all costs. Hijab and Khan discuss whether Tate's conversion was authentic. They agree that it was. Then they consider some of the problems Tate has been causing, and Hijab shares a story about one of Muhammad's companions who, even though he had good intentions, ended up helping the enemies of Muhammad. And Hijab compares this companion to Andrew Tate.
If Andrew Tate does the same thing, and this is where the fine line is, he's actually at that fine line of right now, where he's aiding the enemies of Islam in a sense, he's indirectly.
Oh, he's aiding us. He's been aiding us since the moment he converted.
But he's not doing, I would say, this is where the Muslims have to be careful as well, because just like Hatib, yes, he's aiding the enemies of Islam in an indirect manner, and that's a major sin.
To be fair, Hijab, he's not aiding us anywhere near as much as you and Ali Dawah.
Yes, he's aiding the enemies of Islam in an indirect manner, and that's a major sin. It's wrong. I believe it's not justifiable Islamically. But it's not the kind of sin that, as you mentioned, would excommunicate him outside, because if that was the case, then Hatib would have been excommunicated by the Prophet.
So, Tate is aiding the enemies of Islam, but he's not an apostate. So what should Muslims do about his behavior, which they can't seem to control? How hard should Muslims push?
There is zero benefit in pushing Andrew Tate to become an enemy of Islam.
Zero benefit.
Zero benefit. And if you push him too much, a human being is a human being is a human being. And like you're going to push him, do you want him to become like a David Wood? Do you want him to become like a David Wood? Do you want him to become like a David Wood?
Sorry, Hijab, but ain't no thing like me except me. Thanks for the shout out, though. It's good to know that In your mind, I'm the ultimate nightmare scenario for what Andrew Tate could become.
Do you want him to become like a David Wood? Do you want him to become like an enemy of Islam? Is that what you want? Because that's going to bring people out of Islam. That's what it's going to do.
So Muslims, better keep quiet about Andrew Tate, or you'll push him too hard, and he'll become like the Dizzle, and lead tons and tons of people out of Islam.
Yeah. And I think that Muslim community have to really tone it down with this. Yeah, because at the end of the day, like I said, there's zero benefit in this man leaving Islam and becoming enemy of Islam. Yeah. It will lead to more apostasies. It will lead to less people coming into Islam, especially those who came into Islam through him. And there's a lot, and we know that.
Get it? Exposing the terrible behavior of a popular Muslim influencer will lead to apostasy. So it's better to let the popular influencer do what he wants. This brings us to today's lesson about narcissists. I promised you a lesson, and you'll get it right after a brief word about this video's sponsor. Pretend you were one of the gullible teenagers who started worshiping Andrew Tate. Your mom tried to warn you, but you didn't listen to your own mother. Here you are, a few years later, and you finally realize that the woman who gave birth to you deserved far more respect and devotion than that walking misogynistic clown emoji, Andrew Tate. So, you need to apologize. How do you make things right with your mom? Get her some hand-picked treasures from the places where Jesus walked. I'm talking about signing her up for some Artza boxes. Your mom will love them. She'll get candles, Israeli spice mixes, olive wood carvings, mosaic art, decorations, cosmetics, candy, games, all kinds of things delivered right to her door. And she'll forgive you for treating her so terribly. There's a new box every season, 4 new boxes every year. Of course, even if you're not apologizing to your mom for ignoring her warnings about Andrew Tate, you can get an Artza box for yourself, like a real top G. If you'd like to start getting your Artza boxes, the link is in the description. Be sure to use the promo code DIZZLE to get a discount and to let them know who sent you. Now, what can we learn about narcissists from the clips we saw? I dropped a hint right before I told you about Artza boxes. What's Hijab's real point about Andrew Tate? Hijab insists that exposing the terrible behavior of a popular Muslim influencer will lead to apostasy. So it's better to let the popular influencer do whatever he wants. Don't expose him. But Hijab is a narcissist. And whenever a narcissist seems like he's trying to help someone, or seems like he's trying to help your community, you should always, always, always ask yourself, what's in it for the narcissist? Because I guarantee you there's something in it for him, or he wouldn't be wasting his precious time. Can you think of any reason Mohammed Hijab might be telling the Muslim community not to push too hard against popular Muslim influencers who've been caught in a scandal? Wait a moment. Isn't Mohammed Hijab a popular Muslim influencer who's been caught in a scandal? Hasn't Hijab been exposed for marrying secret extra wives and lying to them about his intentions, and for basically turning them into prostitutes, and for using a photoshopped screenshot and a fake AI confession to cover up what he did, and even for blackmailing a sheikh and ruining his life because the sheikh wouldn't help him lie about one of his victims? Should Muslims call out Mohammed Hijab for his behavior? Of course not. Even though he's aiding the enemies of Islam by giving us endless ammunition, he's not an apostate. If you keep pushing him, you might turn him into an enemy of Islam. You might even turn him into David Wood in his dreams. So just think about all the people who will leave Islam if you expose Mohammed Hijab. You don't want to be responsible for accelerating the avalanche of apostasy, do you? No matter what he does, you need to let him get away with all of it. He's too important to fail. That's the real point Hijab was making. And the point I'm making to you is that you should always be looking for this sort of thing when you're dealing with someone like Mohammed Hijab. Since The videos about Hijab's secret hotel wives just came out. The moment I saw he had posted a video about Andrew Tate, I thought, he's obviously going to use this to protect himself from criticism. And he didn't disappoint. Now, let me speak to Hijab directly since I know he's watching. Mohammed, don't worry about being exposed. You've picked your followers well. Nothing I say and nothing you do is going to diminish their loyalty to you. If I even thought for a second that this video would cause problems for you, I wouldn't have posted it. Right now, you're still too valuable to what we're trying to do for us to let you fail. So cheer up, Hijab. You're not finished until I say you're finished.